So welcome to this morning's 11 a.m. Facebook Live in the Positive Vibes community. Unfortunately, we were not able to get our technology working this morning, so we've recorded this for you all, so you can go back and watch it when you get a chance to later. So we're back on the call series about menopause with Sally Varley. This is call number 2, and this is all about gut health, which is really, really important to me. I'm really, really keen to learn what Sally has to share with us. So as you know, if you watched last week's call, Sally is an acupuncturist and women's health coach. She's got a wealth of knowledge in this area. Last week, as I said, we covered stress and menopause. If you want to go and check that call out, just type in Sally's name and type in stress and it will come up in the group and you can watch that one. But today we're talking about gut health. So the first question I have for you, Sally, after saying good morning, by the way.
Good morning.
How is gut health affected in the menopause?
So lots of things are affected in menopause, as we know, and we talked about last week. And the reason that gut health can be affected in menopause is partly because 80% of our immune cells are found in our gut health. So actually this applies to anybody. It's not just menopausal women, it's anybody. So if our gut health's under stress and it's not really working very well, then obviously our immune system is going to become compromised. And when we talk about making an immune system stronger, actually what we really mean is that we want it to stay inert. We don't want it to be activated. So we've got two kind of strands to our immune system. One is the innate one that you're born with. So that means your skin, your digestive system, and your respiratory tract. So obviously some things, you know, if you touch something that you're allergic to, it's going to give you a rash, or you may things like eczema and dermatitis and things like that could be triggered by allergies, often to things like dairy products. And then your respiratory tract, so if you're breathing stuff in, we can become sensitive or allergic, and that kicks off your immune response. And the other one is your acquired immunity, so that comes from exposure to certain illnesses, and then obviously hopefully we become immune. And the way it works is that messengers called cytokines communicate with the immune system, and they set off inflammation if it gets activated. So with coronavirus, people are talking about people who catch it are suffering a cytokine storm, and it's literally the inflammation's sort of swamping their body and the immune system can't cope, and that's why some people are sadly dying from it. So to bring it back to menopause, one of the things that happens with our old friend estrogen as it starts to fall is that it can slow down the digestive tract. And that means that also stomach acid could become lower, and your stomach acid is very important for digesting your food properly. So if that's not happening and your digestive system's going more slowly, then you know you're going to start suffering from things like indigestion, constipation, bloating, and discomfort. And you know, last time we talked about the fight or flight response from stress, and how that switches off all the kind of non-essential functions. All it wants you to do is for your body to run away. But if you're going in and out of a stress picture on and off throughout the day, you could be constantly switching off your digestion, basically. And so that's going to slow everything down, mean that you're probably not absorbing nutrients properly. And of course, also with the stress picture, cortisol's being released, that messes with your blood sugar, and then it's going to affect your insulin levels. And sometimes people talk about cortisol and insulin like the ugly stepsisters, if you like. So when they pair up together, they tend to fix fat, and they do that mainly laying down fat around the tummy, like we talked about last time. So if you're somebody watching who struggles with tummy fat and retaining it there, and you might be that person that you can go to the gym and your legs are quite slim and your arms are slim, but you've always just got this muffin top. That's possibly because you've got too much stress going on, and it's this cortisol and insulin that are fixing around your middle.
So with estrogen, is there a way that obviously as it depletes as you go into menopause, you can't change that, you can't make more of it?
Well, you can't make more of it, but you can eat things like called phytoestrogens.
Okay.
So they are foods like soy, plants, not plants, but like vegetables was what I mean. So yeah, I mean, this brings me to how this plant fibers basically really help your gut health, because they're called short chain fatty acids, and we need lots of those, and that keeps your immune system calm. It promotes good bowel health. And so we want to be doing all the things that we talked about last time, which in some ways I think people can sometimes think, oh, it's so complicated, there's so many things to remember, but we always come back to the same things of keep on top of caffeine and alcohol and sugar, have a good sleep routine, make sure you get enough water, exercise for half an hour a day, keep your stress levels down. All of those things are going to,
at the moment, Sally, some of which they're actually quite difficult to get on top of, aren't they? Because I find people that I speak to are drinking more, having more sugary foods. I'm definitely not sleeping as well as I have been. I keep waking up in the night, and I think that's a bit anxious as to what's going on. But definitely drinking water, you can definitely do that. Definitely getting out and having the exercise every day.
I totally understand, and I'm in the same boat as well. I've noticed that my sort of biscuit quotas crept up, and I think the problem is we get into this catch-22 where when we're not eating really nourishing foods, then our body's kind of not satisfied and it becomes nutrient starved, so it starts craving things. And actually I've got a really good download that people can contact me for, which is all about what cravings mean and different body signs, and it's quite interesting because it's not just things like chocolate and whatever, but sometimes people crave quite strange things, but it usually means that your body's lacking a certain vitamin or mineral.
They're not pregnant.
They could be pregnant, but not necessarily. And
I've talked about this last week, because I definitely crave fatty things like almond butter, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So that was, we were talking about the omegas. So that's essential fatty acids are very important because they kind of coat the cells in this protective layer that stops pathogens from getting into them. So while we're under stress and our immune system's going on the verge of being triggered or might be weakened because of the stress, we need to make sure that we're getting those fatty acids and plenty of zinc, lots of vitamin D, which is great at the moment because the weather's so nice. So going outside every day for at least 15 minutes just to kind of get that sun into obviously don't like stare directly at the sun, but get the sun shining on your face, get it on your forearms, and that will really boost your vitamin D levels. And also we need vitamin C for antioxidant, again, for cell health. And again, coming back to sleep, and I think lots of people, same as you, are having trouble sleeping, partly because it's been a bit warmer lately and we've all got stuff on our minds. And one of the things that happens is that serotonin, which is a neurotransmitter and a hormone, is made in the gut. 70% of it is made in the gut, and this is a precursor to melatonin, which is in charge of the sleep-wake cycle. So if our gut's not healthy and we've got too much of the kind of harmful bacteria building up and digestion is slow and not working properly, we're not going to produce enough serotonin, we're not going to have the feel good benefits of it, and it's also not going to then produce enough melatonin, which will make us sleepy at the right time of day, and then we've got disrupted sleep. So that's why it's very important to get on top of our gut health. And I think, you know, indigestion is kind of really common in menopausal women, and often it's overlooked, and a doctor might just prescribe something like omeprazole, which helps with stomach complaints, and unfortunately, although that will inhibit the production of stomach acid, if that is actually the problem, it also inhibits the absorption of important things like calcium and magnesium.
Right.
And again, I think we were talking about those two last time.
Yeah.
And calcium, obviously it's really important because it's got to go to the bones, and magnesium helps carry it there. And magnesium was also the thing that's really important for those leg cramps, restless leg, insomnia, feeling sensitive, feeling tense. So
I've definitely noticed the restless leg syndrome at the moment. I need to up my magnesium.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and the other thing is that to sort of talk about bowel movements briefly, which is not anyone's favourite topic, but I want to stress to the viewers, it's incredibly important that you have a bowel movement every day, because if you don't, you are potentially reabsorbing kind of undigested food particles and toxic waste back into your bloodstream, and your body will think, hang on a minute, I've got a pathogen or a foreign invader, and that's when you kick off your immune response. And you can get things that, you know, you wouldn't normally kind of suffer from. So it is important that we're eliminating properly every single day.
Yes.
And you know, when I do a consultation, it's amazing the number of people that say, when I ask, do you go daily, and they're like, every other day, every third day, you know, and that's really not good. So magnesium is another thing, because it relaxes the body, it relaxes the intestines, and it helps to have a regular bowel movement, and that's incredibly important.
Top tip.
Top tip. Yeah, talking about poo.
Shall we come on to the 2 Acupoints that you've got for today, which are the gates of sedation? Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. So these are 2 brilliant points, which, as you said, they're called the gates of sedation because they're incredibly calming. And one's on the hand and one's on the foot. So again, quite easy to do. I've, just for people who didn't catch last week's episode, I've bought my little
that's good.
This is Dottie. And so this is just to explain how these lines on her body all relate to a different meridian or channel, and the dots are the acupoints. So you can see they go all over the head, all down the body, down the legs, on the feet.
So many. I didn't think there'd be that many.
Yeah. There's around 400 that we had to learn off by heart. So
it's a lot to learn, isn't it?
There's a lot to learn. But so the first one I'm going to teach you is the one on the hand. And it's basically when you press your thumb and forefinger together, it's on this little fleshy mound at the top. So again, you can do it on either hand. And in fact, that's a nice segue from our last comment about bowel movements, because this one is on the large intestine channel,
right?
And which is basically your colon.
Okay.
And it's called Great Eliminator. So this is a really good one that will help the bowels to move. It's also very calming. It's incredible for pain, and it connects to the senses of the head. So if you've got a headache, toothache, your eyes are sore, or your temples are throbbing, or whatever, you can massage this point. This is known as one of the master points because it's so commonly used.
Is it where the 2 bones connect?
Just in front of it, in the kind of fleshy bit. Can you see I'm pressing there.
Yeah.
So yeah, when where your hand, it's just the fleshy part,
Yeah.
the little mound that's made at the top of the crease.
So you
So
just do circular motions like you did before with the other ones.
Yeah, and you can do it on both of them. And again, this is one that sometimes people find themselves massaging when they've got a headache without realizing it. You're kind of drawn to press this point. So I think, you know, that's a good one at the moment, especially for people, because we're all feeling quite worried and up in our heads, aren't we? So so that's a great one. And then the next one, I'm just going to show you on a picture because I don't want to
You're going to get your foot into the
drop us out. Not really. So this one is sort of in the equivalent place on the foot between the big toe and the second toe, and it's this point here. Can you see this picture?
Yeah.
So it's the third one up.
Right. Yeah.
There. So if you go onto the sort of the webbing between your big toe and your second toe, and you just slide your finger up about 1.5 inches, and then it's just before where the bones meet, and this point is called happy calm.
Oh, okay.
It's on the liver channel. So the liver, we say in Chinese medicine that the liver is responsible for storing the menstrual blood. I mean, it doesn't literally store it, but obviously your liver is extremely important for filtering all the toxins that are coming at you every day. And this is another reason that we want to get good sleep, because between 1 and 3 a.m. is when the liver's sort of at its most active, processing and filtering everything. So if you are having disrupted sleep, your liver can't do its job properly, and then when you wake up in the morning, your system's going to be in a more acidic state. Were we talking last time about the pH balance of the bloodstream and how it?
I can't remember.
So this connects again to immunity, because we want to be in an alkaline state most of the time. So we want our blood pH to be about 7.2. And all of the things that we like eating, which are the wrong stuff, basically, the sugars, the alcohol, caffeine, fatty stuff, all of that is acid forming. So we want to constantly offset that by eating loads of green leafy vegetables. That's the best way of getting lots of alkaline foods into your system. Again, I've got a great handout that's all about how to alkalize your system, and with a chart of different foods that what their pH value is, so that you can tell. Because for instance, you know how they recommend to drink lemon in water in the morning, which is cleansing for your liver. Often people are like, well, why would we do that? Because it seems acidic, but it's actually, the pH value of it is alkaline. So it's very alkalizing, and it helps to bring your body back into balance. And what they say is that pathogens and bacteria and fungus and parasites and diseases can't live in an alkaline environment. So so that point on the foot it promotes feelings of calm. It's very good if you feel frustrated, that kind of built up tension, which is not, it's not good for us to feel like that. And I think there's a lot of frustration around at the moment. And so if you do both those points on each foot and one on each hand, and maybe if you can get your partner or a friend or a child or somebody to do it for you and do swapsies, it's just a really nice thing. And it's very sedating, basically. It's but in a completely natural way, and it just helps to bring the body into that rest and digest place again and help you feel calm.
Wow, it's so interesting. I've never really looked into acupuncture. I've never had it done. I think I said I've got a Shakti mat, which is principles, but not obviously targeting specific things. So it's really interesting. Well, thank you very much for today. I'm sorry we didn't get on live. But we've got another call next week, next Tuesday, 11 a.m. in the Positive Vibes community. So all being well, we'll be able to do that one live. And that one's going to focus more on a little bit of stuff that we touched on today, which is dealing with sleep problems, hot flushes and night sweats, which I do understand. So
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that one and sharing that with everybody next Tuesday at 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
I don't actually know what date that is, but anyway, next Tuesday at 11 o'clock, Sally's going to be back on with her last call in the call series. So thank you so much for sharing all your knowledge again, Sally. It's been really good. I've taken a lot from it myself personally, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
You too. Take care.
Thanks a lot. Bye.